Yeah. Michael, of all the tough times you've had in cricket, has there been any tougher than that game?
Look, I'd never like losing, that's for sure. So every team I've been a part of that's lost, it's obviously been extremely tough, and you probably take it more personally when you're captain of the team as well. Yeah, look, what can I say? Our performance with the bat in the first innings was unacceptable. The wicket was very good for batting. We had a great opportunity, and we let ourselves down. You know, we've got plenty of experience in our top seven. We've seen already in this series, that guys can score runs against this attack. Our shot selection was poor, and we just didn't have the discipline that England had. England were willing to bat for long periods and graft through the tough times, and we certainly weren't in that first innings.
Because England were 3 for not many in both innings and still managed well over 300, which says something about the way they approached the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, I think at the end of the day, that's Test match cricket. You've got to bat for long periods to make runs. There's going to be times through your innings that you feel comfortable and you can play some shots, and there's going to be times where the opposition are going to bowl well and you've got to show respect, and you've got to back your defence. I think defence is a big part of all cricket, but especially Test cricket. There's times on good wickets where you've got to set some defensive fields and bowl a little bit defensive as well, and at the moment with the bat, we haven't been able to do that for long enough periods anyway.
Daniel? Michael, you seem crestfallen. What's the morale like in the camp? I mean, 2-0 down and obviously outplayed in this Test match. What's it like right now?
I think you know the answer to that question.
We talked about the dressing room and the spirit of the players over the last couple of days then, how it's been.
Yeah, well, last couple of days have been, we're doing everything in our power to try and win the Test match. Even today, we come here with an open mind, knowing it was going to be tough, but the confidence was still there. We thought we'd just seen England score plenty of runs in both of their innings. We thought, if we bat well and bat for long enough, we don't have to worry about runs. But unfortunately, it wasn't the case. I thought the boys fought quite hard today. It was always going to be difficult with the ball spinning. A lot of footmarks for the left-handers and reverse swing. But like I say, I'm most disappointed with our performance in the first innings with the bat.
Michael, even though you're in the middle of this series, do you get the sense that England are not allowing you to play particularly well, or do you feel that it's your own lack of quality that's not playing well?
I certainly don't want to take any credit away from England. They've outplayed us in both Test matches. But that's Test cricket. You've got to find a way. There's tough times. Like I say, as a batter, there's going to be spells through your innings where, bowlers have worked you over. But you've got to find a way to get through that. I think that's a big part of international cricket. Obviously, I'm still confident we can win this series. I heard a lot of the crowd laugh when I said that, and rightly so, the position I sit in right now today. But, I think we've seen, just about all of our top order have made a 50 throughout this series so far. We need someone to go on and make a big 100, as England have done.
Michael, one more loss, been the worst losing streak by an Australian team. Is that reflective, I guess, of this being one of the toughest times Australian cricket's faced, do you think?
Ask me that question if we lose another Test match. Right now, I haven't even thought about it, to be honest. We need to perform better to win this third Test. We've got some time to prepare, and I guess for our batters to make some runs in the tour game, and we do everything we can to win the third Test in Manchester.
Michael, you mentioned discipline, or batsmen having discipline. I mean, that's something that's built up and developed over a period of time generally in players. Do you think that the game at home in Australia is producing players that have that at the moment, or is that a problem that they're not coming through?
Well, I said defence, and I think you learn that at the age of 10. Obviously, there's 3 different formats we now play. And there's times through your career in 2020 cricket or one-day cricket where you make a 50 off 25 balls or 100 off 50 balls, and that's a great innings. But I know in Test cricket, some of the best innings that I've ever seen in my career are guys making 100 off 350 balls. So there's a time and a place. I don't want anybody in our team to play, to not play their natural game and not back their own instinct. I think you have to do that 100%. But whether you like it or not, when you're playing against good opposition, there's going to be tough times in your innings as a batsman, and you've got to find a way to get through that. And in my career, the way I've tried to get through those periods is with my defence.
So is the proving ground back home strong enough to get players thinking that way at the moment?
Well, I've said for a long time, I think we've got plenty of talent. I think there's everyone in our top 7, just about everyone in our top 7 has made a 50 so far in this series. So the boys can do it. It's just about trying to do it as consistently as we possibly can.
That's it. Michael, the last time Australia lost 6 on the trot, the captain resigned in tears, which I presume is not going to happen this time, but it clearly showed the impact.
Presume nothing.
I guess that, that indicates, I guess, the intense pressure on the captain, doesn't it? How are you going carrying that load?
It's, you know what, I say you probably take it more to heart or more personally when you're captain because you care so much about your teammates. But I felt the same when I was just a player and we lost. It used to hurt me just as much. The reason you play any sport, I guess, is to try and win. That's been the way I've been brought up, and half my problem, I guess, is when I was lucky enough and I made my debut and the start of my career, I walked into such a great Australian team that winning was certainly a habit, and that's something that I've become accustomed to and used to, and I don't want that to change. At the moment, we're not performing as well as we'd like. We have to acknowledge that. There's areas of our game we have to get better. I've never sat in a press conference when we've lost a game and actually enjoyed it. I don't think that'll ever change. I honestly feel we have so much support in the UK at the moment. There's plenty of people, plenty of Australians around. A lot of the English have been very supportive towards us. I think people back home are cheering us on, and we're letting ourselves and our supporters down at the moment by the way we batted in our first innings. I think our bowlers are fighting as hard as they possibly can, and we're letting them down as well. We're making them bowl every single day because we're not putting enough runs on the board.
Michael, I know you're a selector, but would you support a move to look outside the squad for the rest of the series, or would you like to see these guys be back to fight their way out of it?
I'll support whatever decision the selectors make. I think that's a question for them, to be honest.
So you go down to Hove now. Will you use that as an opportunity to look at players outside of this 11 or let this 11 have more cricket?
I'll ask that question to the selectors, but I would imagine the 11 players that take the field will come from the Ashes squad that's been picked.
Michael, just I suppose like Shane Watson keeps getting out LBW. Can you see a way for him to kind of conquer that technical issue in his game? Are you disappointed that he keeps getting out the same way?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the individual player. Every single one of us in the top 7 let ourselves down. We didn't play well enough, like I say, especially in the first innings. Today, I feel like guys, I think Usman Khawaja played a fantastic knock today. He fought his backside off. Our tail continues to fight so hard for us, but every one of us in the top 7 was disappointing in the first innings. We all got out. Doesn't matter how, find a way. Every single one of us has to find a way to spend more time in the middle, to bat for longer periods, to help this team have success.
Just on the back to the domestic game in Australia, would you prefer to see more senior players in your team retire from 2020 as you have?
In the Australian team? I think that's a personal choice, to be honest. I've always said I love all 3 forms of the game. My reasoning for retiring from international T20 cricket was to focus wholly and solely on one-day cricket and Test cricket. I felt my game needed to improve in certain areas to stay in the team, I guess, in the Test format and the one-day format. So I've tried to use the time that I'm not playing 2020 cricket to improve my game. But everyone's in a different vote. Everyone's at a different age, different stage of their life. So I can't make that decision for other people. And like I say, I enjoy all 3 formats. I love watching the international T20s. I know the Big Bash at home has been fantastic, and I think there's, and I believe there's room for all 3 formats in our game. And I think, you must be a very good player if you can perform at all 3 formats, and we're lucky enough we've got a few of those guys.
Last question, Nathan.
Clarke, your back looked sore while you were batting today, as often does, but he seemed to be stretching it even more.
Nothing's changed.
Will you play in the tour match, do you think?
Oh, I hope so. I need some more time in the middle. I haven't scored enough runs. It's as simple as that. So, for me personally, the more time I can spend in the middle, the more runs I can make. Hopefully I can carry that confidence and momentum into the next test match. You know, I'm as responsible, if not more accountable, for my poor performance in the first innings. The way I got out, I felt like I was hitting the ball well, and my shot selection was extremely poor. I expect better of myself, and this team needs me to make sure when I get a start like that, I go on and make a big score. So, you know, I've got a lot of work to do as well over the next few days to get right for the third test match.